Three Voyager characters had identical doppelgangers in other Star Trek TV shows and movies. The Star Trek universe is vast, spanning centuries of storytelling and dozens of series, films, and timelines. With this immense narrative sprawl comes the occasional delight or oddity of actors and characters overlapping in surprising ways. Star Trek Voyager, the series that followed the USS Voyager's decades-long journey home from the Delta Quadrant, had its own fair share of memorable characters. But what's truly fascinating is how some Voyager cast members ended up portraying completely different characters elsewhere in the Star Trek franchise, creating uncanny doppelgangers across time and space. Whether due to budget-saving casting choices, inside jokes, or simply the talent of certain actors, Voyager's crew has shown up in other Trek stories, sometimes centuries apart, or in drastically different roles. These identical doppelgangers challenge our perceptions of continuity, identity, and the legacy of familiar faces across the galaxy. Here are three Voyager characters whose actors portrayed near-identical doubles in other Star Trek TV shows and movies, leading to some fascinating fan speculation and in-universe curiosity. 1. Robert Picardo, the Doctor and Dr. Zimmerman, and a hologram Admiral 2. When it comes to Star Trek doppelgangers, Robert Picardo's characters are arguably the most meta and deliberate. In Voyager, he plays the iconic emergency medical hologram EMH, often referred to simply as the Doctor. This character begins as a simple holographic program designed for short-term medical assistance and evolves into a sentient being with rich emotional complexity, artistic passion, and a desperate desire for individuality, including the search for a name of his own. But Picardo's involvement in Star Trek doesn't stop there. In the Voyager episode Lifeline, Picardo also plays the Doctor's creator, Dr. Louis Zimmerman, who is not only physically identical, but also shares the same biting wit and gruff demeanor. The in-universe reason is clear: Zimmerman designed the EMH based on his own image. But to the audience, it creates a fascinating mirror, a man and his creation, both struggling with isolation and purpose. The meta layers deepen in the Star Trek First Contact film, when the EMH, again portrayed by Picardo, makes a cameo aboard the Enterprise E. In a moment of comedic brilliance, Picardo's EMH stalls the invading Borg with sarcasm and medical misdirection. Though it's a different ship and a different time, it's the same model, a callback to Voyager for savvy fans. Even more interestingly, in Star Trek Picard Season 1, fans speculated wildly about the android-like character Director Alton Soong, also played by Brent Spiner, being part of a lineage of lookalikes. If Picard can feature a Soong family tree of doubles, why not an unseen Zimmerman legacy in later centuries? Perhaps somewhere long after Voyager, Picardo's face lives on as AI, android, or man. Why, it's not just a gimmick. Robert Picardo's roles aren't just recasting choices. They play into Star Trek's broader themes of identity, artificial intelligence, and the meaning of personhood. Seeing the same face in both man and machine invites viewers to consider the moral dimensions of creation and legacy, and whether sentience can arise from imitation. 2. Tim Russ Tuvok, and a 23rd century human officer. Tim Russ's portrayal of the Vulcan security chief Tuvok was a major highlight of Voyager. Calm, loyal, and quietly sarcastic, Tuvok's stoicism balanced out the emotional chaos of life on a lost starship. His unique status as a Vulcan who had previously served aboard the USS Excelsior under Captain Sulu, revealed in flashback, tied into earlier Trek history and grounded Voyager in franchise continuity. But eagle-eyed fans noticed something odd when rewatching Star Trek Generations, released before Voyager's premiere. In that film, Tim Russ appears not as Tuvok, but as a human bridge officer aboard the Enterprise B. He's clearly not Vulcan, no pointed ears, no arched eyebrows, yet he's undeniably Tim Russ. It's a blink and you miss it role, but it's enough to spark theories. Did Tuvok have a twin? A temporal double? Was this simply a casting coincidence, or is it something more? Adding fuel to the fire, Tim Russ also had a small role in Star Trek The Next Generation as a terrorist named Devore in the episode Starship Mine. Again, not Tuvok. And again, undeniably Tim Russ. Unlike the Doctor/Zimmerman situation, there's no in-universe explanation provided, at least not yet. Fan theories abound. Some fans speculate that the human officer in Generations could be a disguised Tuvok on a secret Starfleet intelligence mission, explaining his presence on a ship decades before Voyager. Others chalk it up to reuse of a reliable actor before his Voyager fame. Why it works? Rather than being immersion-breaking, Tim Russ's doppelgangers enhance the allure of Star Trek's layered canon. They suggest that perhaps in the multiverse or in time loops common to Trek, familiar faces reappear for deeper cosmic reasons. 3. Ethan Phillips and Neelix and a Mazarite in Enterprise. Neelix, the ever-chipper Talaxian chef, morale officer, and self-appointed ambassador of the USS Voyager, was brought to life with endearing eccentricity by Ethan Phillips. Neelix was known for his optimistic personality, colorful wardrobe, and unpalatable Delta Quadrant cuisine. Underneath his comic relief exterior, Neelix carried a tragic backstory of loss and survival, giving him unexpected emotional depth. But Ethan Phillips, like many Trek actors, wore multiple faces in the franchise literally. In the prequel series Star Trek Enterprise, Phillips appeared under heavy makeup again, but not as Neelix. This time, in the Season 1 episode Acquisition, he portrayed a Mazarite merchant dealing with the Ferengi in an early encounter with Captain Archer's crew. The character was greedy and sly, a far cry from the warm-hearted Neelix, and the episode gave fans a momentary double take. Phillips also appeared in Star Trek First Contact, this time without makeup, as a holographic maitre d' during the Dixon Hill holodeck scene. Though not officially Neelix in any form, it added to the playful tapestry of familiar actors reappearing across the franchise. Was it just a cameo? It's easy to dismiss these appearances as fun Easter eggs for longtime fans, and to be fair, that's likely all they were intended to be. Yet in a franchise where holodecks, genetic cloning, and alternate timelines exist, it's entirely plausible that Neelix could have a double in another century on another world. A universe of familiar faces. Phillips's versatility, masked under latex and prosthetics, makes him a favorite for background and alien roles. But to Voyager fans, every gravelly laugh or quirky expression in those other appearances evokes the beloved Talaxian just a little too clearly. The bigger picture, when doppelgangers mean more than just reuse, in most TV franchises, actors playing multiple roles might break continuity or immersion. But in Star Trek, it's almost a tradition. From Jeffrey Combs' Wayon, Brunt, Shran Devon Armstrong with over a dozen roles, Trek thrives on its recurring players. What makes the Voyager examples so interesting is how overt the doppelgangers are, and how easily fans can justify them in universe. In a galaxy filled with genetic engineering, time travel, holography, and infinite diversity in infinite combinations, why shouldn't two characters look alike? Beyond the meta joke or budget-friendly casting, these doppelgangers often enrich the stories they inhabit. The Doctor grapples with his own identity while